In this video, I'm going to speak about why you should be a delusional optimist like Logan Paul. And like any boxing fan, when I saw this fight between Mayweather and Logan Paul announced, I was pretty flabbergasted. I just thought to myself, what is the point in this? It's a YouTuber with two fights against, for me, hands down, the best fighter of the last 20 years. Like any Mayweather fight, I watch all the documentaries, I watch all the media stuff on YouTube, and I did find myself warming to Logan Paul. I didn't expect him to win at any point, but I really liked him. I liked what he was about. I liked his mentality. Um, the way he approached the fight was really interesting. And there's one quotation that really resonated with me when he was asked about his opinion on beating Mayweather. He'd say, "Well, yeah, okay, people hear that and say I'm a moron, but well, I agree. I am a bit of a moron for saying that, but I'm a delusional optimist." And that's the theme of this conversation today that really interests me, and I want to project that on you guys and get you thinking about some of these traits, how they can help you. Because in reality, though, did Logan Paul really believe he was going to beat Mayweather? Probably not. Um, there were certain moments in podcasts I listened to where he was confronted about that. Do you really think you're going to win? You get a different answer each time, but there wasn't really a true belief he was going to do this. And why would there be? I've mentioned already it's one of the best fighters of our generation and a YouTuber with two fights. But Logan Paul would have developed this mindset, a very positive mindset, which resulted in this delusional optimism. And what's the impact of this delusional optimism? Not just Logan Paul, but anyone with this outlook. Well, firstly, you have a goal that gets you up in the morning. If you have this huge Mount Everest of a goal, for some people, that's a real motivation. That's something to work towards. For Logan Paul, that Everest was beating Mayweather. And that's really intriguing and really interesting to think about. You're going to raise your standards. If you have a really high goal to attain, that's going to make you sharp. That's going to make you think, well, I need to up my game here. There's certain elements of my training program or whatever it is I'm working towards needs to be better. So his preparation, Logan Paul, for the fight, watching the documentaries, looking at the investment he made to be as prepared as possible and the time he put into it. He put a year into this fight, he said. So would he put the same effort in against a TikTok star or another YouTuber? Arguably, but I don't think he would have done. Also, you increase your stock as well. You fight someone like Mayweather, it's going to be much easier after that fight to negotiate a fight with another top fighter. If you carry on fighting YouTubers, TikTok stars, that stock won't be as high, that interest in the fight won't be as high. And what I'd say to you is carry this over, have this mindset in your own career going forward in sports science. I'll speak briefly about how I had a similar mindset to Logan Paul in my career in the early days of my sports science degree. This was a post I put up a few months ago on my Instagram page, and I spoke about when I was doing my undergraduate degree. I had two types of ambitions, and a part of that was just being completely ridiculous and saying, well, I'm going to work for Real Madrid one day. I'll tell people that, yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to learn Spanish, and I emailed a few teams in La Liga trying to get myself in the door there. And I would recommend that that shouldn't be your whole life. You should have realistic goals as well. So for me, it was realistic to work in a professional team. Well, of course I should have been. I was doing a sports science degree. I was working hard. There was no reason why I shouldn't at least be in the door at a professional team. And if that didn't happen, I was going to be pretty frustrated. For Logan Paul, you can see the frustration all over his face here, losing to KSI. That was a realistic goal for him to beat KSI. That didn't happen. And you can see right there how frustrated he is. But then you have the dream goals. You have a bit more fun with this. You'll say, well, for me at least, well, why not Real Madrid? Why not Bayern or Manchester United, these big clubs? In your head, you're thinking it's probably not going to happen, but there's no pressure. I'm going to have a go at this. And you see the difference in the post fight behavior for Logan Paul. You see the post Mayweather fight. Look at him. He didn't win. Okay, there was no winner or loser. It was an exhibition fight, but you can see how happy he is. And that's the difference. There was no pressure going into that event. So, what was the impact of my delusional optimism? Well, Doing my undergraduate degree and telling people I was going to work for Real Madrid, it got me out of bed. It made me think to myself, well, I've told people I'm going to do this. I should probably go out and do some work to try and make this happen. And it's exciting as well. I was working towards something that was really interesting. And in turn, my standards raised. I mentioned I've got to get up and do something. Well, okay, well, what would the best S&C coaches, which I was planning to do, what was the best S&C coach going to do? What would they be reading? What podcasts would they listen to? Did I really mirror their behavior? I like to think I did. I probably didn't because they're the best in the world, but I had that mindset at the time of I'm going to do what those guys do. This increased my stock, so it made me a more employable person. Um, all those 3 or 4 years of reading papers, getting placements, podcasts, watching videos, having that routine for a long period of time made me a better person, made me a better student. And fair enough, the happy ending isn't quite there in terms of Real Madrid. I didn't quite reach that level, but I did all right. I still went to top professional teams around Europe, and it was because of that mindset. If I just stuck to number one, realistic goals there in that post, this wouldn't have happened. I had to have that delusional optimism. I had to have those high goals to aspire to get where I wanted to be in my life. So what I'd say to summarize is go for it. Be a delusional optimist like Logan Paul. And you have to be realistic though. Do have your realistic and what I'll also call ridiculous goals as well. So my realistic was professional football. My ridiculous was the best teams in professional football. But have fun. Go for both of these. And talk is cheap. I would be telling people this stuff, I was going to do it, but behind the scenes, I was in the library, I was reading papers, I was watching videos, listening to podcasts, taking notes. I was working my ass off to try and make this ridiculous dream a reality. So that was my short video on Logan Paul and my journey in sports science as well. If you have certain aspirations, you want to speak about those, how you can get to that level, do chat to me at Sports Science Hacks on Instagram and Twitter at CJ Thompson 90. Okay, thank you for listening, and I'll speak to you again soon.